I've noticed something over the past few months. A lot of people have hit a point where they just feel lost. Some are in that messy middle, where you've come so far, but you can't quite see what's next. And then there are those who've made it to maintenance, thought it would feel amazing, and now they're sitting there thinking, why doesn't this feel better than I thought it would? And I get it. Nobody really prepares you for this part. This is the part where things are working, but it doesn't quite feel like what you pictured. You may tell yourself you should be happy, you should be proud, but something feels off. You're still doing the things, still showing up, but it's just like you're disconnected from it. You didn't do anything wrong. You've changed, and your purpose just hasn't caught up yet. When most of us started GLP-1, our purpose is crystal clear. We just want something to finally work. We want peace from the constant noise in our heads. We want a break from feeling like no matter what we do, it's never enough. In those early weeks, everything feels alive. Every number on the scale, every craving that disappears, every time you realize you're not hungry all day. It all feels like proof that maybe, finally, this is working. You feel hopeful again. You start to believe you might actually be changing for good. But after a while, that connection starts to fade. You get into a rhythm, you do what you're supposed to do, and then one day, you realize you're not feeling much of anything about it. You're technically doing great, but deep down you're wondering, why doesn't this feel good anymore? And I know that can feel confusing because everything you used to pray for, it's happening, but somehow it doesn't feel the way you thought it would. That's a hard truth to admit out loud. This is the quiet part, when progress becomes normal. At first, you were grateful for every change. Now those same changes just feel expected. You look in the mirror and you see a smaller body, a different version of you, but you can't quite find you in it. That's what it feels like when purpose drifts. It's slow, like you've been on autopilot for weeks, doing all of the right things, but feeling flat. When that happens, it's easy to think that something's wrong with you. I know I say this a lot, but you're not broken. You're just outgrowing the version of yourself that was surviving more than living. Maybe you see others online still posting excited updates and you start to think, why don't I feel that way anymore? Maybe you tell yourself you're tired or your dose needs adjusting, but deep down, you know it's not physical. It's emotional. You're doing everything right, but it still feels hollow. Purpose is what gives the hard parts meaning. It's what keeps you grounded when the excitement starts to fade. Without it, even success starts to feel kind of heavy. The tricky part is purpose doesn't always leave loudly. It slips away in the quiet ways. When you stop celebrating small wins because they feel routine. When the habits that once felt empowering now feel like chores. When you start wondering if all of this effort is really changing anything inside of you. Here's the thing I want you to know. That's normal. Most people don't talk about it because it feels strange to admit that you're lost when you're technically succeeding. It's your mind saying, hey, what mattered then? That's not what matters now. That early version of you needing something clear to hold on to, a number, a routine, a reason, that made sense back then. But now you've lived some of the change. You've proven to yourself that you can do hard things. And once you know that, the old purpose, it stops fitting. It's not about starting over. It's about asking yourself, what matters to me now? Purpose isn't something you define once and you keep it forever. It evolves as you do. Sometimes it starts small. Realizing your goal isn't to lose more, it's to live more. Maybe it's peace instead of progress. Maybe it's learning to take care of yourself without chasing the next milestone. That's how new purpose begins. So if you've been feeling lost lately, ask yourself this. What does purpose look like for me today? Not the day you started, not the version of you who just wanted the number to change. Right now, this version. Maybe your purpose is just to have more peace, energy, Maybe it's showing up for the people you love in a body that lets you live, not just survive. Maybe it's waking up and realizing food doesn't have a hold on you anymore. Whatever it is, that's enough. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be yours. Progress gets you to milestones, but purpose keeps you from feeling empty once you get there. And that really shows up in maintenance. Maintenance probably sounds peaceful, but sometimes it feels like a free fall. That structure that carried you to that point, it fades. No more big drops in weight, no more visible change. You're left with stillness. And if you haven't reconnected with purpose, that stillness can start to feel like a loss. Maybe you start asking, what now? That's usually the moment when people panic a little. They either try to chase new goals or slip back into old habits, but neither really fixes it. Because what's missing isn't a plan, it's meaning. Before you hit maintenance, or if you're already there, I want you to take a step back. Ask what this journey means to you right now. What's worth holding on to, and what can you release? Because if you don't, progress that once felt freeing, it can start to feel like pressure again. Here's what that can look like in real life. Maybe your purpose now is to learn how to live at this size without the fear of regaining it all back. Maybe it's trusting your body again, eating a meal, feeling satisfied, and moving on with your day. Maybe it's repairing your relationship with movement, exercising for how it makes you feel, not what it burns, learning how to actually be in photos again, or say yes to situations you used to avoid. So if you're in that quiet right now, you're not stuck. You're in between versions of yourself. And it's okay if you don't have the next one figured out yet. You don't need to rush. You just need to give yourself space to listen. Stand still long enough to hear what's next. Purpose doesn't show up through constant pressure. It shows up through honesty. And sometimes the most honest thing you can say is, I don't know what this means for me anymore. That is awareness, and awareness is where new purpose begins. And maybe your new purpose isn't about control or perfection or being the ideal version of yourself. Maybe it's just about freedom. Freedom from the rules that used to run you. Freedom from chasing what everyone else measures. Freedom to finally enjoy the life you've built. You don't have to have it all figured out today. You just have to start asking better questions, the kind that bring you closer to yourself instead of further away. Feeling lost doesn't mean you've gone backward. It means you're being invited to grow forward, this time with purpose. If this message resonated with you, hit the like button. It lets me know that these conversations matter to you. And if you haven't already, subscribe so you don't miss the next conversation. And as always, remember, we can share our journeys, but we should never compare them. Bye.
Now she's glowing, feeling brand new. Simply Taisha, she's the proof it's true. Keep that smile, keep that fire. You can reach a little higher. She's the vibe, she's the wave. Simply Taisha.